You take a feather and it will drop down. And what does your body do? Never allows you to drop down. Because what is it doing? Via pressure, via control, via this balance of muscle and tissue, what is it doing? Constantly seeing to it that your blood is circulating. Whether it's sugar balance, pressure balance, cellular balance between minerals in your cell and out of your cell. What do you have? A thermostat. A thermostat to keep you in health, in balance. And therefore, what do you have? A thermostat to keep fat in your body. How much fat will be there in your body? How much fat? According to how much energy is there in that blood. How much energy is going into that cell. So those cells are not fighting with each other and saying, where's my food? You put in energy, the amount of fat in your body is what it's meant to be. When will you put on fat? Only when the body wants extra energy. So what does a child do from 0 to 6 months? What does it do? Doubles its weight. Do you then say, oh my God, my baby's fat? Do you do that? No. And once its structure becomes strong, what happens to all that baby fat? It melts away. When you are allowing a fetus to grow in your womb, what happens to you? You put on weight. And the moment the baby is born, what happens to that fat? It disappears, or it's meant to disappear. So why does it not disappear? Because again, the amount of energy you're making is not according to the amount of energy you need. So why is it that we associate fat with disease? Why is it that we associate fat as a bad word? Why is it that we don't respect fat and realize that fat is your fixed deposit? It is your reserve energy. It is pre-programmed as an adaptive evolutionary process that every time energy comes down, fat goes up. Why has this happened? The first reason is, what is the reason for fat? It's a storage of energy. And how does your body make energy? Through the food you eat. And what is happening in the last 100 years to the food we are eating? Are we eating food? Our food is processed. Our food is denatured. Our food is fragmented. Our food is homogenized. Our food is pasteurized. Our food is irradiated. The food you're eating is not nutrient-dense food, but nutrient-less food. It's foodless food. So when you're eating foods from a packet, food that man made rather than nature made, foods that are not regional, seasonal, local, when you do not eat that food, what does your body ask for? Energy. So what do you feel? Hungry. Now when you feel hungry and when you need energy, what did you see? What did you see? That BMC worker, you saw insulin coming with a sweeper. You saw that? Yeah? So what happens the moment you start eating? What does your pancreas do? Starts producing insulin. And what is insulin meant to do? Regulate sugar. But are you eating a food that gives you energy? No. Because what have you picked up? Diet Coke, Nutralite biscuit, khakra, high fiber bread, white rice. You have started eating foods that give you no nutrition. But what is the goal of insulin? To take sugar in. So what does insulin do? The sugar that's in your blood, it drops it down. So when it drops that sugar down, what does your body do? Without sugar, will you make energy? And without energy, is there life? No. So what does your body do? It brings out a signal of a hunger pang, which is what is termed as cravings. And what do you start doing? You start attacking whatever comes your way. What are the foods you're eating? Other than foodless foods, foods that are blockers. In the last 50 years, we've substituted all our grains to only wheat. We're having homogenized and pasteurized milk that cannot be broken down by the body. So when you are high wheat, high milk, what happens? These are blockers. Where do they go and block? To the outer lining of the pancreas. Where is insulin? On the outer lining of the pancreas. So can insulin get released out? No. So when insulin cannot release out and there's sugar in your blood, what will your body be pre-programmed to do? Convert the sugar into fat. So what happens to weight? It goes up. Now, is fat the only consequence? So what if I'm fat? I'm happy. Is that? What is the consequence of eating denatured, foodless blockers? What is the consequence? Every action in your body is a bait-in exchange. One light turns on the next and the next. It's an electrical series. So when you're hungry, there is a hormone called ghrelin which is produced that tells your body, please eat. Once you eat, and if the amount of food you've eaten is enough and produces energy, there's a protein that is produced which is leptin, which then tells your body to stop eating. And as this process is happening, and when insulin is released, the moment insulin is released, insulin activates serotonin. And what does serotonin do? It's your happy hormone. It's the hormone that tells your brain, I am alive and therefore I can rock the world. It is what gives you the energy and the potential to do what you want in your life. And when you don't eat foods that give you energy, when you block your insulin, what do you not produce in your body? Serotonin. And when you don't produce serotonin in your body, what do you become? What do you become? Irritated, angry, mood swings, weepy, defocused, brain fog, lack of concentration, lack of desire, lack of will. You look at everybody and say, they are the devils. Nothing in your life looks beautiful. Because what have you not activated? Serotonin. So what is the consequence of eating foods? You change natural law. And what is natural law? Evolution has created man as the highest in the web of life for us to achieve our optimum. And that optimum can only be achieved when you activate serotonin. And the very action of eating foods that do not give you that energy, you do not reach the potential of your body. What is the second reason why you create fat, and what is its consequence? Lack of sleep. Studies that are done in the last 20 years show the average man in a city now sleeps only 6 hours. 6 hours of sleep raises obesity level by 23%. 5 hours of sleep raises obesity levels by 52%. And less than 4 hours of sleep rather than 7 to 9 hours of sleep, which is what was done up to 100 years ago, raises obesity level by 73%. We think that sleep is a bad word. Sleep is associated to laziness. You want to be switched on all the time. So again, what's the consequence? Just fat. And what's wrong with fat? Yes or no? What's wrong with it? There's nothing. But what's the consequence? Ghrelin, which is a hormone that activates hunger. The moment you sleep less, ghrelin starts saying, eat more. So as you keep up in the night, what do you start? Eating more. So till night, you're very good. And then what happens? Farsan dabbas, chocolate boxes, cheese in the fridge, everything comes out because ghrelin goes up. And just as ghrelin goes up, when you sleep less, leptin comes. So what do you get into? Binge eating. And the more you binge, what do you feel? I have no willpower. And the more you feel I don't have willpower, what do you lose out? Control, feeling of power, feeling that I can, that goes. So again, is that the only consequence? Weight? No. We said every action leads to another action. It's a bait and exchange. And what is the bait and exchange? Brain and liver take maximum energy. And body at no time can give brain and liver the same amount of energy. So the bait and exchange that has been done genetically, pre-programmed for the last 3.5 billion years is light goes on, brain starts working, light is off, liver starts working. Brain and liver don't work together. So when you sleep less, who's working? Brain. So who's not working? Liver. So what is your liver not being able to do? Detoxify. What is the job of the liver in the night? To clean every capillary in your body. 600,000 kilometers of blood vessel is purified and cleaned. The blood that is needed in your brain is stored in the liver, recharged, polished, done chak out of, and to be given back to the brain so that when you wake up in the morning, you are fully charged. So what do you not allow? Your liver to clean your blood. So if your liver doesn't clean your blood, how do you wake up? Wanting to go back to sleep. How do you wake up? With bloating, joint pains, inflammation, swelling, irritability, brain not functioning. So what will you do?
Coffee.
What will you do?
Coffee.
Start eating again. Now what's the consequence of what you eat and what you're eating? Is it creating a change? Let's watch this video.
When you eat a whole grain food, it goes down into the mouth, into the stomach, then into the upper intestines. Because of the fiber, it is absorbed slowly into the bloodstream as blood sugar or glucose. The glucose moves into the cells and is burned for energy. When you eat a refined grain, it goes down into the mouth, into the stomach, then into the upper intestines. This time, because the grain has no fiber, it is quickly broken down in the intestines and absorbed, dumping a large amount of glucose into the bloodstream. The glucose moves into the cells, but there is more glucose than the cell can use, so the body converts it into fat, which accumulates on the body.